Hello, viewers. Welcome to another beautiful episode of the Nana Yayabua podcast. Today, I am in the studio with Hezzy Ysrayl. Now, that Hezzy and Israel are different spellings. You've never seen anything like that before. It took me a little bit for my brains to wrap around it. But but he is an amazing human being with multiple talents. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief about Hezzy Ysrayl. So, I'm getting the pronunciation correct, right? Hezzy.
Right. Yes. It is. It is fine. Very good. Very good. Got all these little ones coming in here touching the light. But yes, close the door, people. Thank you. Good. Yeah, everything is fine. Um, yes, Hezzy Ysrayl is exactly how you could pronounce my name. Thank you so much.
Hezzy Ysrayl.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Hezzy is an accomplished educator with over 20 years of experience. He's a passionate advocate for inclusive decolonizing learning and integrates intelligence, emotional intelligence, and ancient intelligence into the designs of his innovative future focused curricula. Now, when I started seeing artificial intelligence and decolonized learning and ancient intelligence, I really became interested
Excellent.
because if people don't know, my other little passion is technology,
Mm,
AI specifically. I want to know AI. So
ex-
I've been, looking around, as a Black woman, technology, how does it all impact? So that's why I decided that when I saw that you're teaching that, it's like, let me get this gentleman on the screen. Let's talk about artificial intelligence because we have a lot of question marks about what it is and whether it is right to teach our children and whether it's ethical. It's like so many questions about it. I'm not the expert. He is, and he is going to walk us through. Is it welcome to the Nana Yayabua podcast?
Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here, Nana. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank
You are very welcome. So, you know what? I'm curious. We all grew up in families, in communities, and those families, communities, education shape us and who we become as individuals. Now, guys, if you're watching us and when you watch us, this is a special interview because the one thing I did not say is that his first job, Easy's first job, sorry, Hezzy's first job is fatherhood. So if you see the children around, that is perfectly fine by me. It is because of the children that we have these conversations to leave these legacies, these wisdom, so that they, in our absence, they'll also have that opportunity to, get a little bit from us. So the children, from me, they are always welcome.
Thank you. That's great. They're going to be so happy to hear that, and I'm grateful. They're the main focus of why we're
Yes,
doing this. So they're going to pop in. They're so excited. We're on a podcast with Nana. So they'll come through. But thank you.
excellent. So how did growing up influence your decision to become a teacher?
Perfect. Um, the way that how when I was younger,
Hmm.
how that influenced me becoming a teacher was my first job. My first job was a camp counselor. And
Okay.
yes, at 15 years old, I was working at a camp and it was my first job. And I realized, oh my goodness, I love this. I got along well with
Mm-hmm.
children and I just had this natural knack for working with young people. So
Mm-hmm.
I always remembered how I felt when I was doing that work. And then I kept on continuing with that line of work. And, I have a younger brother. So I would teach him certain things. And I just found it very easy to teach people. And I always loved my books and studying. So that's really how my upbringing really helped me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a lot of things like that. It really helped me. I was in Sunday school. I was a teacher at Sunday school, teacher at camp. So a lot of the opportunities that I had when I was younger allowed me to really hone in on my teaching skills.
Excellent. Thank you. Because it's not everybody. Some people, will say that it is the teacher that they had inspired them to go into teaching, and etc. So, what grades do you teach?
Well, right now I've taught every grade, right? So I've taught from K to 12 officially,
Okay.
right? But right now I'm doing some consulting work within different school boards. So that allows me, I'm still teaching all the way to K2 adult,
Mhm.
right? So, with different schools and different areas, I go in and I teach intro to AI. I have different programs, what I'm doing in different areas, such as my transformation for elevation program that
Mhm.
focuses on AI and personal development. Because I'm also a life coach, a mind valley
Yes.
life coach. So I infuse personal transformation or transformational psychology with my AI programming that allows people to now think of themselves in the future using AI, and then when they're using AI and looking at themselves in the future, then we start to put together the program to help them reach their goals, right?
Oh.
Yes, so it's a fusion. And we also connect that back with the Ontario curriculum. So when I do go into the schools, the teachers and administrators can use that within their programs, because I'm also a teacher as well. So I create my programs so that the schools can use it and it connects with the curriculum.
Phew, you almost burst my brains there. I knew we were going to talk about AI, but the complexities of it was what I think I did not. I underestimated that it's not as easy as we speak about artificial intelligence or machine learning.
Right.
Now, we've been throwing around the term AI, AI. For those who may watch this have no idea what AI is, could you please break it down to the nitty gritty?
Perfect. I'll do it at nitty gritty. AI stands for artificial intelligence, right? So yeah, that's really what it is. Artificial intelligence. It is like robot or computer learning, right? And it's there to help us assist us in everyday life, right? So it has the ability to do some amazing things, help us as humans do a lot of great things. It does have its pros and it does have its cons.
Mm-hmm.
Right now in the world, this is the biggest boom right now. Some
Mm-hmm.
people are saying this is like the greatest invention to humanity, just like how fire was many, many years,
Yeah.
right? So it's upon us now. It is not a thing of the future, and it's very imperative, especially for racialized um, members of the Black community, to
Mm-hmm.
really get involved in AI, and so we're not left behind.
So, let's so as you speaking, I think when I was doing the research, some people spoke about AI as the fourth industrial revolution, or bigger than that. And you were speaking about, black people getting into, artificial intelligence. Like, so for instance, somebody just like myself, if I say I want to get into artificial intelligence, it's like, where can I start? Because somebody may have heard AI has no clue about it, but they have sort of an interest. A child comes home and talks about AI. How would you break it down?
Perfect. Okay. The way I would get started, right? No shameless plug here, but I have the link to my course, right? That I give you, right? And I designed it in such a way for the family. So I have two branches to the course, one for children and one for adults. And I
Mhm.
have that mindset right there in place to teaching the person who has never heard of it before. So
Mhm.
I come at it in a very fun way, and I infuse their own personal goals in there. So
Yeah.
it connects with them. There's nothing out
Yes.
themselves, and we allow for conversation.
Hmm.
So a lot of it allays a lot of the fears that people have,
Hmm.
right? By having the one-on-one conversation, and they see that in my LinkedIn, I do a lot of work within the schools. So
Yeah.
I'm teaching young people from the base level, teaching them about prompt engineering, how to really get the AI model to do what you want it to do. So we're getting at a real entry level, and we realize that it's not as intimidating as we think. So I start off really, my process is now really starting to teach students about what AI is, artificial intelligence, and then we moved into prompt engineering. So getting the machine, as we talked about machine learning or AI, to do what you as the programmer want it to do.
So the prompt will be what you put into the sort of, for instance, I think many people know about Chat GTP.
Yes, yes.
So the words you put in, is that what is called prompt learning?
Yes, or prompt engineering. Yes,
Prompt engineering.
yeah, you are getting Chat GBT to do what you want it to do by you typing in your prompt. So tell me who the Prime Minister of Canada is. If I type
Mm-hmm.
that, boom, that shows up. Or anything that you type in. You could also now with Chat GBT, it's also connected with images. So if I say create me a red ball, that
Mm-hmm.
is also one of the APIs or one of the programs that are connected to
Mm-hmm.
Chat GBT, and then you'll get a red ball there. So that's why when I'm in the schools, I'm teaching the young people and parents too, the importance of language. How we connected over here at Elevated Grounds is that we make sure that the students understand the more descriptive text they use, the
Mm-hmm.
more descriptive the outcome will be. So
Okay.
there's a connection to your ability to write descriptive text, and the
Mm-hmm.
output will then be more descriptive than if you just write a vague prompt.
Mm, 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 mm. Wow. Because I see a lot of, utilization of AI. You see the distinctive images that are produced out there, and the talk is almost everywhere. And I do believe Bing also has an AI embedded in it. And even where we met on LinkedIn also has an AI thing embedded, and Gemini for what's the name? For Google.
Google, yep.
Yes,
Google, yes.
yes. So it's all coming. Okay, so it's all coming together.
Excellent.
Now let's talk about us as persons of color, Black people,
Mhm.
and technology. You highlighted on that. Why is it important for us to be part of this movement?
Perfect. Yeah, the reason why racialized Black people need to be a part of this AI revolution is that we do not want to get left behind. Many other movements have come and we're sitting back on the sidelines, and it goes and we're not a part of it. And then when it passes us, we're like, oh my goodness, what happened? You understand? And that's
Hmm.
how I got it, right? Because there's so many things that we can do with it. It's such a
Hmm.
powerful tool. It's how you use it, right? I have all of these characters talking because I've made them into.
Yes.
So I'm going to now give you that's the general.
Hmm.
There's a major technology. We need to use it for the
Hmm.
advancement of any of our personal goals and community goals, right? So
Hmm.
I didn't want this to pass me by as other movements have passed us by. So I jumped on it right away, right?
Hmm.
Now, especially when it comes to education and the things that I'm very passionate about is equity and inclusivity.
Yeah.
I now, as a writer, there is a lack of representation of Blacks in literature, right? For
Hmm.
the children, they're all going.
Children's literature. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I created three of my children's books, right? So I can just show you here, right?
Okay.
You can be another one. Truly Melanin presents Self Care Sundays, and another
Hmm.
Afro Pig Adventures, right? How did
Yes.
I connect back with that? Is that now we can make that more dynamic. As a teacher, I see that when you put those characters into my AI platforms, they're interactive. I've seen this that with a lot of students that I go to schools and the principals will tell me, hey, this student is not really engaged. When we infuse AI and the images that look like them, they're
Hmm.
highly engaged. So it's starting to now bring a high level of engagement to our community in whatever sphere we infuse AI with.
Excellent. Thank you. So we all need to be proud of it. I know I'm on a path of learning. That's why I connected with you to
Excellent.
learn more
Mm,
about that, so that whoever is watching, wherever, you also understand that as Black people, we need to be mindful and be in technology.
of course.
And even being a Black woman, I know Black men will take the lead, but then where are we Black women in technology? So we also need to, create and make a presence, understand technology, how technology is used, and whatnot. But so this really brings me to a key question. We talked about, um, AI in the schools and you utilizing it to teach. Like, how do you foresee that this AI sense of education will impact the child's potential career path or future prospect?
Big time, big time. Thank you for that question, Nana. When we take a look at statistics in LinkedIn, LinkedIn was
Mm-hmm.
doing some statistics even from last year. I was saying 85 million jobs will be displaced,
Yeah,
and 7 million jobs will be replaced with people who have the skills to use AI.
AI, yes.
And now when we're talking about racialized community, does that say, last hired, first fired, certain things like
Mm-hmm.
that, right? We now need to make sure, when you're asking about the overall future of AI, going now, I'm going to answer it from specific in the Black community. We have to make sure that we're a part of this for that main reason. You
Mm-hmm.
see that the whole world is moving in this regard. We now need to be at the forefront. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So that is where I see it in the world of education with all people now. This is where it's going, the digital citizenship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Global citizenship, where the world keeps getting smaller and smaller. We have to make sure that our students are able to compete at an international level. So that's really where it is, or we will be left behind. And I think you and I both know as Black people that we're tired of getting left behind. You understand? So it's time to now be like, you know what? Not getting left behind. We're not getting left behind. Children, you're gonna, like my little guys, you're gonna know about prompt engineering. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
know about different things. There's no more excuses now.
Yeah.
You know, no more excuses. Let's just get it done. Elevate the nations.
Thank you. Thank you. So, you know what? When you said prompt engineering, I know we've touched about it. Somebody will think it's like, oh my goodness, engineering. But it's not that complicated.
Not at all.
It's knowing exactly what you want and putting that language into the system for it to, for lack of a better word, spit out the image or the information or whatnot for you.
Right. And that term is called generative AI. When you
Generative AI.
word, yeah, generative AI. So
Mm,
that really when you just once you start doing it, I'll give you an example. I'll tell you a story. When I was working with a school out Peel, Dixie,
mhm.
working with some of the students. Is that too loud? Are those ones too loud?
Yes.
Okay, let me.
Yes.
You want me to close the door? Can I get up and close the door?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right. Thank you so much. All
No
right.
problem.
Okay.
I
So
I edit it myself, so I'll just.
perfect. Good. I just wanted to
I'm a
know.
one-woman production company.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I do video editing too, so it's all good. I totally understand. All right.
Yes.
So we'll go back. What was I talking about? I was talking
So we're
about
talking about generative AI.
yes. And oh yes, and just talking about the impact. Once I had a student, she was doing it. She once she learned that I taught her in the program, she went back home, told her parents, and her parents came into for the last night when we share our work with the parents, and they told me that after she learned how to do it, she was on it all night, like because it was so easy. Once she started generating and realizing it, she was on it all the time. So
Yes.
once people do it, I did a class yesterday and one of my students wrote me right back and she was still practicing on it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So things once people realize that hey, it's not all this like oh look at me and I'm getting some images, I'm getting some information at that level, then people somewhat like really start to realize hey, they're loving it, like especially with chat gbt.
Mm-hmm.
I did some presentations like a year ago. A lot of people are like, oh, I didn't know how to do it. Then I came back and went to the same audience. It's like, yeah, well, I've done it a few times. So a lot more people, after they get rid of that angst and that hear and they try it, they're like, yo, this is very, very good. And it's helping me in certain areas, right?
Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. Most definitely. I had a friend who was using, who said for an interview, they didn't really know an interview on leadership or whatnot. So they put in, in chat GPT sample questions, leadership questions, and, answers. And it gave them the sample, questions and then the answers. And that was their study
Mm-hmm.
before they went in for that interview. So that is how it helped them. But as we're speaking on this, there's also an other aspect that it is good, but people are concerned. People have some ethical concerns about AI and teaching it to students or professionals and its abuse, etc.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. I can talk about the
Yeah.
other too, because we just did this lesson yesterday with the whole school. So I'll tell you exactly, this is fresh off the press. We have
Oh,
about ethics, and we
yeah.
talk about the dangers, and the students go in and they share all the things they know, such as deep fakes, so people can go and steal your information and take your voice, because there's voice synthesizers and voice, sorry, replicators, and they can take your voice. And we talked about all these different negative things, right? And then we have activity that we talk about, um, is this good or bad? Is this ethical? We teach the word ethical to the students, doing something good or bad when nobody's even around. So we teach the young people about ethics. And then
Yeah.
when we do that, we have a scenario that we can either, I give them two different scenarios. Like, is it okay if I just use AI, take a picture of you, make it say a whole bunch of stuff without your permission? And the students say, no, that's not right. Or, and then we have a conversation about that. So we teach explicitly on ethics and the right use, because after you finish our program, it's a certificate program. We give the students a certificate. And once they get the certificate, part of their certificate is that they are going to be able to be AI specialists, right? We teach things, but they're also going to be aware of how to use AI. So part of the training is the ethics. So yes, we are aware of those other pieces, but we're teaching how can we use AI to better humanity, to elevate the nations, right? It all comes down to choice.
Whoa, guys, you are with us on the Nana Yayabua podcast with my brother from another mother, Hezzy Ysrayl, talking about artificial intelligence. Oh my goodness. So please, this is where sometimes I find a little problematic that people move forward, we become hesitant, and by the time we realize, um, we left behind. Who is that banging on the door?
Hey, stop banging the drum. Come on. Truly go deal with him.
Oh, children. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, okay. So I think I'll cut it short so you go see to them. Um, so what are some of the success stories you can share? I know you've spoken about the students going home and whatnot. Are there any other success stories that stand out, to you on how artificial intelligence or AI has changed
Big time.
somebody's life? Yeah.
Big time. I'll tell you a few. The one that comes right at me, I'm going to do one for an adult, and then I'm going to do one for a student. The first one, as an adult, I remember I taught a class with different educators out in the Peel District School Board. And one teacher came up to me after, and she was like, young black lady talking to me, and she said, at first, I'll quote her words. She goes, at first, I thought you were coming to talk some Babylon business, right? Talking about AI, and she was coming from the mindset, oh, this was of the devil and all this. And she told me after I taught her
I,
program, she was like so relieved and so happy
And
how
you know what? Your name doesn't help you either.
but right? So exactly. So they're thinking I'm coming in with some different kind of stuff. And when I did that, she was so happy. So that's one
Happy,
of the
yeah.
first things I remembered, that I was able to go and teach and break some
The
of
biases,
the
yeah.
biases and the fears that even our own people have, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
that was one part. And another two stories that I remember is one of the reasons why I created my own app, stayelevatedai.com. The reason why I created my app, here's the two
Mm-hmm.
success, is because when I was doing some work in the camps with I found that AI has the potential, as you and I were talking, to cause harm. And I'm going to show you the
Yes.
harm that I was talking about. The type of work that I was doing with the students was that they would generate images. So when I have a classroom, multicultural classroom, the white students can get their images, different people can get their images. But when I found, especially in my work, I found that young black girls with hijabs
Mm-hmm.
were being represented with the AI. They would type it in, and when we talk about thinking about our future, we would say, "Hey, black girl, so I want to be a doctor." So she type it in, black girl with a hijab, and she couldn't find herself. And then so when everybody else was getting, oh, this is so cool, I look over at her table and I'd see tears. A friend would come by and it would be like, yo, so and so's not doing so well. So then I would bring her up to the front and I'd have to use some of my own prompt engineering, and I start typing to get an image that looks like her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remembered when I did that, how happy she was. So I saw that was something. And then I saw another time with a boy with a turban. He wanted to do this exercise, looking for a family with so he looked at himself as an older male with a turban, and he was having a hard time, right, finding images. So I started seeing a connection with racialized youth, that they were not finding images of themselves. Then another time, some other students, biracial students, were having some issues now as well. I would be doing some work, and the last time the principal told me, like, this student needs to be successful. Like, he came here, he's giving it a try. It's hard to get him out, so he needs to get success. And I was going after, like, 10 minutes after the class, I was just still working at it to get the prompt for him. And then we finally found a shade that worked for him and looked like him. And then he was like, okay, he was happy. But then that prompted me to go, you know what? Something's off here. Even though we're learning this powerful tool in this fourth revolution, racialized students were still being left out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I took it upon myself and I said, you know what? Let me go with my team and create an app called stayelevatedai.com. Right. And I said, and I have something now, my melanin
Mm-hmm.
drop down menu. So once
Yes.
you go down to see that, you match your skin tone up with it, and then boom, you choose that. So then you do in your prompt, you don't have to say black male, a
Mm-hmm.
lot black white girl, or black white Chinese. You don't have to do that, because when I was working with different software, it still wasn't 100% accurate, because I could be a black man from China, so I could
Yes.
be somewhat Chinese, right? Like you,
Yes.
right? So in a sense, that was some of the issues that some of them
Mm-hmm.
were having when they were typing it in. So I
Yeah.
said, to alleviate some of those things, I
Mm-hmm.
created the melanin drop down menu,
Mm-hmm.
which has different skin tones. So you don't have to now use race as your key determining factor. So that's why I take the decolonized lens. We're now using the melanin drop down menu for people to choose that image, and then they can describe themselves, not saying black, because we already know there's so many different shades, right?
Yes.
And people, so that's where a lot of harm was being caused, because especially with the young ladies, I
Mm-hmm.
was really going in with their shades, and they type in black. They were like, this doesn't look like me, especially when we start doing the hair.
Yeah.
So I worked, and I'm still working with my team to really work on these different
Head
hairs
textures. Yeah.
and different specifications for the purpose of representation.
Wow. Excellent. Great. Great. Keep doing, because you guys are at the forefront, and thinking through solution focused AI ideas for us. As you're speaking, I was thinking when I started, dabbling with AI, the images that were being generated were really like out of some horror movie.
Right.
Yes, but so I stopped for a while, but I restarted it again, and I see that there's massive improvement.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
there is massive improvement, more additions. But this afternoon, I was playing around with an AI video thing, and I input, black women, sorry, black children by the fireside drumming and dancing.
Mm.
When it generated the image, I think it was so comedic for me. It was so funny. It
Mhm.
was ridiculous, and it's because it was so ridiculous that I found it funny. And it's like, okay, that there are, maybe it's my prompt engineering,
Mhm.
but I believe the images still have more work to be done.
Yeah.
And the more we people such as yourself get into it to ease it out, and the more we input the prompts as well, then
Mhm.
it also picks up from us. So it's a trial, and it's continuous learning. It's
Yes, it is.
continuous learning. Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
um I think you might have touched on this question. It's like any advice to give to somebody who is intimidated by the idea of artificial intelligence,
Yes.
because some people think, it makes people lazy, people don't think and whatnot, and it's like I said, I beg to differ. But from an expert point of view, what is your take on that?
Yeah. My take, the first thing that came up to me is mindset, right? Do not be afraid, right? Like back, you can look at any type of technology. This is very similar with the,
Mm-hmm.
the internet, 1999, everything's going to shut down in
Twin.
right? And things like that, right? So we got to really be mindful and look at different movements in the past and
Mm-hmm.
see how we handle those things, right? Yes, we already know that there are safety precautions that we have to put in place. Go in and just try it. Just try it. Just like try it. Everything else you do, you just give it a try, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you need any help, to start off and you want someone to guide you, you have the link. I gave the link to Nana. You can hit me up at
Yes.
hezzyelevateminds@gmail.com. If you're like, Hezzy, I'm so intimidated, come hold my hand, right? We have the intro course over there.
Yes.
So you have the link right there. Nana has the link, and we can just hold your hand and give you some help, right? And you can reach out to me at hezzyelevatesminds@gmail.com, info@elevatedgrounds.com, and I can be there to help you hold your hand. If you need a person to hold your hand and help you through it, if not, just jump on either one of those platforms, Copilot, ChatGPT, and
Mm-hmm.
just prompt. Just go online, go on YouTube, and you can just start. But if you need someone to hold your hand, need some help, come to Hezzy Elevates Minds. Hit me up, Hezzy Elevates Minds at Gmail, and get that done for you.
Elevate your mind. You know what? You've answered my question on resources and online platforms, books or courses. That was what I was about to ask you, but you've answered that question. So if you need, like as he said, if you need him to hold his hands, he's available. The link will be in the bottom part or somewhere, for you to click on it. And he's also on LinkedIn, so you can easily find him on LinkedIn as well. The fact of the matter is, society is not static. Cultures are not static. We keep evolving and evolving. AI is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. So if we better get on board, get comfortable, and change the narrative. But just before we leave, I just how do we call it? I think a key question that I didn't ask was, as a teacher, as a black male teacher in this institution, what are some of the challenges you faced number one, in teaching, and number two, with AI, what are some of the biggest, with you being the person doing the teaching and not the person they believe should be reflective of the teaching?
Okay.
I'm not sure whether I was clear enough.
I think I kind of get it. It's
Okay.
challenges that I've had in teaching, and then the
Mhm.
challenges in the world of AI as being a black male teacher. Is that the question?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it
My
is.
perfect. I have a perfect answer for you. And how I got to the world of AI.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge that I had as a teacher was that when I was teaching, there was a hate crime against me. So the N word was written on the door that I walked through, right? And then that was somewhat of my catalyst, right? So as a teacher, dealing with racism, the N word written all over my door, the door that I walked through. And then, so I took some time off there and I said, you know what? I use that as motivation to become a better person,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I then went and got some counseling, went and got some therapy. And then I said, you know, my dream has always been to be a life coach. So then I went
Mm-hmm.
to Mind Valley and did the Mind Valley life coaching. So I ended up being a life coach. And then while I was off, I said, you know what? I'm not going to stop there. I saw something. I was in Mexico, lying on the bed, looked at my phone, and I got this advertisement that's showing up. Another black male, Billie Jean, was talking about AI. So I said, you know what? This is,
Mm-hmm.
and all the questions you were asking about, you don't want
Yeah.
to miss wave. And I'm like, you're right. I don't want to miss this wave. So I looked
Yes.
and I took his course. I finished it off with AI and marketing for 4 month course. So I did that, bettered myself, and that's how I got to teaching AI. So
Mm-hmm.
it's because of racism per se, racism really pushing me out, you know
Of
what I
your
mean,
comfort zone.
out of my comfort zone. So as I look at the Most High now, I was very comfortable. You know what I mean? I was very,
Mm-hmm.
and the Most High had to shake me out. So once I got that shaking, it allowed me now to move on to do bigger and better things. You
Mm.
understand? So that's how the Most High used me, use a low point, as scripture says, as what the devil meant for evil, the Most High makes it good. And that,
Amen.
amen, hallelujah to that. So I flipped it around. The Most High flipped it. And it's like now it allowed me to go to, I taught in Belize. I was teaching students in Belize. I went to Mexico, and I also now going across the province doing this work. I'm online with you. So
Yes.
what I mean, so that's really what this has got me here. So some can say, hey, what was my story? If that never happened, I don't think the chain of events, I would have really went into AI like that. So the Most High has the master plan, and from that now, I don't really see, oh, who's this black guy teaching it? Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel that, but I do see that a lot of the other principals who are melanated are very happy that I come.
Yes.
They'll
Representation.
so they'll look around twice and be like, yo, I'm so happy you're here. It means so much for us to see a brother like you coming in, because especially with the statistics when it comes to STEAM, science, technology, engineering,
Yes.
math, we're not represented in that field either. So, another young men are coming up and they're putting up their hands and they're asking me certain things about the books and stuff like that. I'm realizing that I'm able to help a lot of, our young people, especially our young men and our young people all together. But it really gives them a different look and shows them what success could look like. It can be different than just dunking a basketball. So,
That is really true. And I think I focus so much on AI that, the inspirational part of this conversation was almost missed. Because as much as we're doing all this, it's also to inspire the next generation or parents that it can be done.
mhm,
And persons like you being in front of our children makes a difference for
mhm,
their mental health, seeing, and what is the word? I was looking for a particular word. It motivates them
yes.
because they can see themselves in the future. And it's one of those things that is like, even at present, leadership. When
Mm-hmm.
you look at the space of leadership, how many Black women are in leadership positions?
Mm-hmm.
But we also come into leadership positions, for instance, with a different flavor,
Yes.
with different skills, with
Mm.
spirituality, with a whole lot of earthness and
Yes.
motherliness and a
Yes.
whole bunch of love, which
Yes.
other people don't, bring. But
Sure.
it's also within the same space that they get scared of us. So I'll leave that on a different conversation. But this is to say thank you so much for what you do. Do not stop, continue to do it. He just went offline. So we've been having a conversation with Hezzy Ysrayl on artificial intelligence and his work as a teacher, teaching that, his also work as a coach, inspiring the next generation in life. Thank you so much for watching the Nana Yayeboa podcast. It is always an honor, a pleasure to come to you from our studios here in Brantford, Ontario. Have a blessed day.